is quite interesting. First, it's interesting because I believe that the National Assembly is not being taken into confidence by the executive arm of government on this very serious matter. This budget should have been implemented and everything done by December 31st, 2024. We extended it by another 6 months to the end of June this year. Right now, what is going on, that activities of the government are being stalled. Contractors who had even succeeded in completing their projects have not been paid. The system that they have adopted in getting payment done centrally from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation has woefully failed. I knew of some efforts that have been made by the leadership of the Senate and maybe the leadership of the House to sensitize the Ministry of Finance and the relevant institutions of the executive arm of government about the danger this kind of thing poses, not just to the security of this country, but also to the whether the government actually is working. You know, people have committed their resources, conducted government work, did everything, but up to now their payments have been stalled. And there are so many projects, you know, in some ministries where even no work has been done in terms of going through the appropriation processes. So I think we need to know what really is happening. Some people are saying that there is cash flow problem or whatever. I mean, the credibility of this government is getting very, very down. Workers, you know, whose salaries have been increased, you know, we say we have given them 35,000 additional money. We have created revenue, wage, minimum wage, 70,000 naira. Nobody has seen anything. So I think for the purpose of its own credibility, you know, this government has to come to explain to Nigerians what is happening. Because now, for example, we are being taken for a ride. You know, we amended the budget to December. I have been here for the past this is the third session of my presence in this National Assembly. We never had this. It has never happened like this. The credibility of the government is getting down. I think the national leadership of the National Assembly should engage, even if it means going to the Mr. President and laying this issue together, because I mean, the country is financially bleeding. People are losing confidence in the capacity of the government to deliver on its own projects and promises. Mr. President, I think this issue is a very serious matter. The leadership of the Senate and the leadership of the House, I think, should approach the President. I know you have done your best regarding meeting with the Minister of Finance, you know, in order for him to relax those kind of orders and the bureaucratization of the payment system, return back to what it was used to before to payment in the ministries. It appears that the ministries are not even being allocated, you know, the capital budget for them to operate in accordance with the appropriation laws and the rules. So, Mr. President, I think the leadership of the National Assembly should take it up with itself to meet the President and express our own concern about what is happening regarding implementation of the budget. The 2025 budget, forget about it. It has not even started. You know, nowhere had the implementation of the 2025 budget started.
Leader, you have 1 minute remaining. Sorry.
So, Mr. President, please, I plead with you to get the leadership to meet with the President on this very, very challenging issue. Thank you very much.
I don't know what to do. Once the minority leader raises his hand, yes, but we have gotten up already.
Thank you, sir.
So continue.
Mr. President, I speak for this bill to be extended out of the period decided by this House. But recall also, Mr. President, this was an issue before the Senate in both plenary in an executive session last year. Also recall, in March, this was an issue. And it was there that the Senate mandated the leadership of the Senate to liaise with the Minister of Finance, Accountant General, with the resolve to bring out the necessities of decentralizing this payment. 3 months down the line, nothing has happened and nothing has changed. This afternoon, I watched the chairman of appropriation, and the way and manner he presented this particular bill speaks volume of his body language, because the fact of the matter, Mr. President, as a parliament, what you ought to hear from the committee chairman of appropriation is whether or not we are experiencing revenues, shortage of revenues, whether or not there is no money in this country to pay up this implemented project. Mr. President, it is not about procurement. We have liaised as a house. Most of the constituency projects that I know of, almost 80%, were completed 6 months before today. And therefore, you begin to hear rumors that the Minister of Finance and the Office of the Accountant General are picking and choosing projects they will finance. It's not right. Sequel to what I have said, I think the Committee on Appropriation, Mr. President, should be saddled with the investigation of why there is this lacuna.
You have 1 minute remaining.
It is important, even though Senator Yahya said the leadership, we have given the leadership that mandate, nothing has changed. We need to redo what Parliament does. Give the Appropriation Committee a mandate of 2 weeks to present before this chamber as to why what is happening. Lastly, Mr. President, this is Parliament. We need to be guided by logics. We need it to be guided by facts on the ground. What is happening is not backed by facts. I have no problem. There is necessity for us to address this issue, extend it, but we cannot continue extending all the time. This thing has become normal.
Thank you very much. Senator Dixon, please.
Mr. President, I think that we must take the bull by the horn on this issue of appropriation. And I think that unless we take it very seriously up with the Ministry of Finance, this Parliament will become an embarrassment into itself. Mr. President, I am reluctantly supporting the extension of the 2024 capital component of the budget. Because, Mr. President, as has been observed, many contractors who had money had committed their funds into executing projects. Many contractors who don't have money have stalled in the execution of the projects. And we have 2025 budget before us. Even those who have funds to commit to projects will be very, very unwilling to commit their money into these projects because of the fear that they will not be paid. And so I think, like some other persons have said here, we want to know. Because we are here as parliamentarians from various constituencies to support government to succeed. Because if government succeeds, we succeed. But we must know the problem so that we can address the problem together. And so, Mr. President, I suggest that the payment practice must be unbundled and the release of funds must be accelerated. Otherwise, we will be deceiving ourselves because in October, November, budget 2026 is going to come.
Thank you,
leader. How do we now approve another budget when 2 budgets are yet unimplemented. Thank you, Mr. President, and I hope they will listen to us.
Senator Dixon, you have the floor. We'll put the vote after Senator Dixon.
I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I wholeheartedly associate myself with the submissions made by my chairman of the Appropriation Committee, adopt same, and further add that in line with the desire of the present government and in consonance with the renewed hope agenda to ensure that no project is abandoned in the course of implementation of the budget, and coupled with the financial inflow challenges that the government experienced, there is need to extend the capital component of this budget so that no project will be left abandoned and dividends of democracy will be brought to the doorsteps of the people in tandem with the renewed hope agenda. But I am supporting this extension with a proviso to the effect that the policy that was introduced by the Ministry of Finance of bottom-top approach is associated with a lot of bureaucratic bottlenecks and red tapes. So there is a need for the Federal Ministry of Finance to have a second look at that policy, review it with a view to fast-tracking the implementation of the budget, because that is what has constituted a cog in the wheel of the faster and successful implementation of the budget. So long as that policy is not reviewed, then the implementation of the budget quickly in order to bring dividends of democracy to the people will be a mirage. So there is a need for us to have a second look at that policy. Thank you.
Amendment Bill 2024. As you may recall, Mr. President, that the President, my esteemed colleague, the Appropriation Act of 2024 will come to an end by 30th of June 2025, this year. And due to some projects which are yet to be funded and implemented, we find it very important to come before these allo chambers that this budget be extended by further 6 months, that is to end on 31st December 2025, to allow, among other things, the procurement process to be completed, money to be released for the implementation of the capital component of this budget. And Mr. President, also let me say this, that we are only extending the capital component of the 2024 Appropriation Act as passed by the Senate. And this is the second time we are extending this budget. And it is our hope that in the next 6 months, all procurement process, all cash releases to assist in the implementation of the capital component of this budget will be done within the shortest possible time. So, Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, this bill is direct, and what it's simply seeking for is for all of us to agree to extend the capital component of the 2024 Appropriation Act. On this note, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I so submit.
Chief Whip, and after you are formally there, I will take the floor.
Okay. Henry Sirake Dixon, Bayelsa West. As it has clearly been stated, even from this aisle, from this side, it is clear that no one in this chamber is opposed to an extension if it has become necessary, so that the machinery of government continues to run and does not grind to a halt. But clearly, nobody is satisfied about the situation that we have found ourselves in. Mr. President, I came this morning to have a conversation with the chairman of appropriation. I'm a member of that committee too. And also the chairman of finance. And if possible, to discuss this on the floor. I didn't know that this matter was slated for hearing. Because we are all inundated with complaints all over. Government has grounded, that's what it means. Contractors who have done their jobs, committed their resources, cannot be paid. The benefits of the budget that we all took time to work on and passed has not gotten to the people. And guess what? We are talking of the capital component. The recurrent component, which is for the bureaucrats, it has gotten to them 100%. 100%. The component that has not been released, that is still stagnant, nothing is moving forward, is the real one that goes to the people of Nigeria for development of our country, for all the people that we represent. So it's a very sad situation. You recall that some weeks back, there was a time that contractors, out of frustration and anger, I hear even staged demonstrations. I read about it. A number of you on this floor may be familiar with that. So, Mr. President, the chairman of appropriation, unlike other motions and debates he has led, for which we have always supported, even from this aisle, in the interest of the country, today has not given compelling reasons why this extension has become necessary. And I don't want to hazard any guess, but from this aisle, you all know what is happening. Maybe there is too much preoccupation with politics and 2027. Maybe there is too much concentration on receiving defectors all across the country, and people are not looking at it. Please. Mr. President, I have the floor.
You started very well, end very well.
I have the floor. I have the floor. Because the business of the Nigerian people, for which we were all elected, all of us and the President of the Federal Republic, is not moving forward. That is the reason this motion and this bill has become necessary. But like I said, from our experiences,
you have 1 second remaining.
Of our commitment for the national good and for the development, we are not opposed in principle to the extension, as the minority leader and my colleagues here have spoken. But I associate with the need to investigate. We need to. Our committees, is it that we are not having enough money? We have withdrawn, all of us supported the withdrawal of fuel subsidy, meaning that there's even more money. All the other levels of government are getting far more money. Some of us managed recessions for 6 years. Now they are getting so much money, the state governments and the local government, which is good. So that means that money or availability of money is not the challenge. The reason the capital component of the budget has not moved forward for the benefit of Nigerians is not because there's no money. So I agree with the suggestion that we should direct the committee, our committee, as a matter of fact, both committees, led by the appropriation committee, and perhaps the committee on finance as well, to jointly, within the next 1 week, undertake an inquiry and report back to us why this has happened, so that we don't have this happening again. I just thought that I should
Thank you very much for your contribution.
And to say that in principle,
thank you.
Even though we are not happy with where we are, things have grounded to in the interest of the country. We need to pass this bill and allow the machinery of government to go on. But we need to investigate why we are here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Having come to the end of debate, in favor that this bill be now read second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. A bill for her to amend, sorry, the clerk of the Senate. I'll come to that.
Okay. Mr. President, distinguished senators.
To further extend the capital component of the Act from 30th June 2023 to 31st December 2025 and for other related matters 2025, second reading taken. Well, let me, before we go to the next stage of the process of the bill, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, the bill origin. I'm going to bring a motion sequel to the passage of the bill, which says the Committee on Appropriation and Finance should investigate the recurring dismal of non-implementation of the capital component and report back within 1 week or two. Within 1 week.
Well, thank you, Senator. Desire to make sure that we solve these problems. In any case, the Committee on Appropriations and Finance have the function already enshrined in our rules to do that. So what we are trying to do is to emphasize the need that they should do the needful and then report back to us. But excuse me, Senator Ningi, I wanted to, whether I want to say my end of remarks in respect to this, I wanted to bring forward something. Anyway, first of all, let me thank all of you for showing your passion to address this issue. This is good because it deals with our national development. It touches the roots of the development of our country. We're talking about capital budget. Thank God is recurrent, are always paid to agencies, MDAs, as at when due. No problem with that. Salaries have been paid and everything. But the core issue now is that of the capital. This issue was raised some time ago. And to be honest with you, the Appropriation Committee and Finance Committee went into action. They invited the minister, Appropriation Committee chairman. I'm talking about what you did. I said, you did your best. You invited the minister and all the stakeholders in the finance ministry and budget ministry. And they sat with them, discussed with them about how to deal with the matter. In fact, they brought it to my office because the Senate President was not around then. And I want to say here that I'm really, it's commendable. What they did, is really highly commendable. And as we speak, it's a work in progress. They are always with them, talking with them, and also, even at our own level, we'll be talking with the finance minister. And they've been, in fact, when he came in this morning, I had to call him and say, okay, how far? He said they are on it. So they are doing their best. I understand your feelings. I understand the fact that you have so many projects ongoing, like those roads, like roads. So many contractors have done, the artwork, remaining, the asphalt, to put asphalt, but they don't have the money to do that. And once we don't extend the budget, it means those projects will be left abandoned. They will never be executed again, which is not good. So we understand, we know that our president listens very well. But we thought the matter has not gotten to the state to meet the president. We thought it's something that could be dealt with, between the National Assembly and Finance Ministry and the Budget Office and so on and so forth. But I am sure the chairman, maybe you can say one or two things on what you are doing. He doesn't need to say it? Okay, yeah, but he's working.
We have confidence in our chairman.
Okay.
What we want to do is...
If he means even see Mr. President, I know they'll do that because Mr. President is somebody who listens, somebody who has the passion to see that we develop our country. He's a very wonderful man. Whatever you take to him, and it's about this nation, he will go extra mile to get that done. I'm confident about that. But we felt it's something that we can deal with between us and the ministry. And we're at that level yet. If they cannot do it, then we'll move to our father, the father of the nation. And I'm sure he will listen to you and then deal with the matter. So let us now go to... now the bill is now referred to the Committee of the Whole in accordance with Rule 80/1. So, Leader of the Senate.
Is formally notified of this situation, and we have become aware, we have to formally mandate them. Let everyone in Nigeria know that we in this Senate are alive to our responsibilities, and that we have mandated our committees, whom we trust, to go into this thing and report to us. I think that will be another. Thank you. So I therefore second the motion earlier moved by Senator Ninki.
Thank you.